And now with more on the Israeli elections 2019, we have founder and executive director of the Israel Institute for Strategic Studies, Dr. Martin Sherman. Dr. Sherman, thank you as always.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
All right, so let's start with kind of how the campaigns have been going and which direction you believe the Israeli electorate is kind of going to head. Because really the big two, as we've all kind of been analyzing, is Kahol Lavan, blue and white, and the Likud under Benny Gantz and Netanyahu, respectively. So where do you see this going?
Well, you know, the election really is basically revolves around Netanyahu and his personality. Because if you look at blue and white is not really a political party where people have come together and coalesced around some sort of political credo or over some socio-political ideology. The glue of blue and white is not Netanyahu. They have people there of completely opposing views. You have right-wing hawks like Bogi Ya'alon and Yoaz Hendel and Tzvi Hauser, and people from Meretz like Gilman and people who've been supporting a Palestinian state. So you know the centrifugal forces that will be there once the elections are over. I can't see the party existing for long, and I imagine, at least hope, that the voters can see this. You know, I'm certainly not an uncritical apologist for Netanyahu, but in many ways he's been a transformational leader. He's huge accomplishments to his credit. I think he's made bad mistakes as well, but you know, if you look at his accomplishments in the economic field, for the first time, GDP per capita has breached $40,000. We've overtaken Britain, France, and Japan in terms of GDP per capita, which would have been unthinkable. He's got major diplomatic triumphs with Brazil and India. Brazil was the country which was once refused to accept our ambassador.
Yeah. And then there's, of course, Africa and other countries in South America.
And of course, probably the most dramatic change is the relationship with the U.S. administration, where he managed to weather a very adversarial administration that emerged virtually unscathed. And I don't think anyone would have imagined a few years ago the kind of relationship we have with the administration today.
So let's go back to something that you said, though, and kind of pick that apart. Because you mentioned how Kahol Lavan's primary, campaign spot has basically been not Netanyahu. Yeah. We're not Netanyahu, let's replace him. And so that kind of sentiment has been a really pervasive sentiment across most of the campaigns, and indeed in most of the electorate that we've spoken to, they all seem to say the same thing. Those who aren't voting for Netanyahu seem to say the same thing, that it's time to change the guard, it's time to get something new in office. So, why do you think that has been the focus if it's not warranted in any way?
Well, after 13 years in power, one might think that it's a good time to change.
His fifth term.
To change. Yeah, but Netanyahu's big advantage is the alternative, because they never produced a really persuasive alternative. Now they've sort of, with media hype, have brought Benny Gantz. But Benny Gantz already hasn't that much civilian or post-military achievement to show. You're listening to the Netanyahu critics, you would think that Israel was Rwanda. But Israel has become a first world country under Netanyahu's last decade of stewardship. So, I don't know how much time we've got, but perhaps the roots go back to the pre-state political schism where you had this antagonism between Ben-Gurion and Begin. But I don't know if you've got time to go into that.
Yeah, unfortunately we don't. But yeah, I mean, this issue, it goes deep in this country. As you said, we've got a lot of people on both sides of this conflict when it comes to Netanyahu, and really people seem to either really support him or completely denounce him. There doesn't seem to be too much in the middle, and so it's going to be really interesting to see what the results are. Until then, thank you so much, Dr. Sherman.
Thank you.